this round the gun, now it's in this mind. They're gonna fall, they're gonna pay. They're gonna strike by, they're gonna pay.
And everybody say no war, no war. People in the street, no war, no war. They don't agree with the fact that the only response is a nuclear strike.
They call them insurgent. War,
war.
The only world insane.
War,
The only thing they wanted.
war.
Do they even know what it means?
Yes, we score tonight.
They made all these promises. They're where to slide. They can't keep their promises. We all knew that. They made all these promises. They're where to slide. They can't keep their promises. We all knew that.
Woo-hoo! Now that's a way of starting out a show. Kick its butt. Yeah, okay. Here I am. This is the Unknown Show with Kra-Z Wren-A, show number 26, and it's September something or another. September 10th, and it's going on a Tuesday. Tuesday, okay. I'm surprised I didn't do a show yesterday. I just needed to sleep in, like sometimes I get like burnt out. So I had to like burn in and sleep in long periods of time. But before I get on to all the rest of the yak I'm gonna do, I'm gonna play another song. So we'll get back to y'all we'll get back to you guys in a second. Sometimes I'm sorry if I don't know what I'm talking about, because sometimes I do mess up, okay? I mess up on things, I get them backwards, I say the wrong places. That's just me, because I can get away with it because I'm Kra-Z Wren-A, I'm like not stating that I'm normal, okay? I get bits and pieces, and sometimes I'm wrong. So if you catch me and I'm wrong on a show, oh yeah, by the way, I remembered what the name of my floor tile is. Linoleum! I bet you guys are out there screaming, linoleum! Okay, it's linoleum. I finally got it. It's not plastic flooring, it's linoleum. But anyway, that's beside the point. I'll be right back. Yeah. Oh, my volume's turned up. Yeah, that was good. I like that piano. That was awesome. When I play piano, which I haven't done in a while, but when I do, that's kind of like the way I would like to play, because I get into that weird kind of downcast, kind of shadowy, kind of spooky in a way, kind of sad, kind of different kind of stuff, because that's me. That's my personality. That's my feelings inside. Woo! No, not that I'm spooky or anything. I just, I have deep-centered feelings, so more than people know. Yeah, I get hurt easy. Okay? Jeez. Anyway, on my last show, I was talking about something about how when you go to work, I think it was my last show, I don't know. When you go to work, when you're, if you have a bad job, you have a bad boss, well, like quit, go to another job and just quit that one, because you don't have to put up with people treating you badly. Well, I said something like, tongue tied, twisted again. You don't owe them a favor. You're there, doing the work for them. Anyway, I wasn't really talking about every boss out in the world. I'm not saying every boss in the world is mean. Most of the bosses out there are pretty damn nice, if you want to choose. Some of them are a lot of fun. I mean, they sing with you, they make jokes with you. I mean, some of them are pretty damn awesome, really. Okay, I probably should have shared that with you. See, sometimes on radio, sometimes got to be careful what you're saying. People might take you wrong or not understand the whole thing if you don't get into detail, which I didn't really get into too much detail on that. But anyway, what I'm saying is, if you're unhappy with the place you work at, then quit. Go somewhere else where you're happy and you get along with the people and they get along with you. That's basically what I'm saying. If you got, because there's another problem with employees, and I didn't mention employees because I've worked at jobs where I've had fellow employees, and I'm not going to say names because I never do, but just in case they're out there, who knows? You never know. They might find me out here. Oh my gosh, that would be scary. Find people in my past would find me. That would be freaky as hell. But anyway, because they have no idea where I'm at, what I'm doing, anything. So anyway, they were so lazy. They would just speak on the telephone with their friends all the time, because we had telephones all over the place, and we had customers would come to a line and we'd have to wait on these people in a line. We were in an airport renting cars behind a computer desk with telephones, and I would see this beside me. There'd be a guy next to me, right? He'd be working on his customer. I'd have my customer over here, and this guy would be on the phone while he is waiting on the customer. He's be on the phone, talking to his friends. I'm serious, in front of the customer. Even the customers, some of them would even mention it. Can you take your personal calls later? You're supposed to be waiting on me. I mean, seriously, that's what you're supposed to do, right? And, this guy was doing it all the time. I mean, sometimes I'd see him on two phones, one cell phone, one, and he'd be on the other phone on the counter, and they'd be with the customer, and the two phone lines he was talking to was actually friends. How can people get away with this crap? And then there's a few girls I used to work with. They were going up to McDonald's, I swear, every 5 minutes. I mean, and pretty much showed too. But I mean, they were always eating, and they're always in the back room. And I'd be sitting there with a long line here to Tokyo, trying to wait on all these people, and they'd all be giving me dirty looks like, hurry up, lady, what's the problem? Because there was only me out there, but they didn't know that there was two girls in the back room that should have been out there working with me. And I've even went back there and said, there's a line, I need help. Nope, they just ignored me. So, a few times, of course I did mention it to the boss, and they ignored me too. So what are you going to do, So half the time I was spent working my butt off and there was other people who were supposed to be helping me that didn't. And then I had another lady. She was older than the rest of us, and she'd sit on the chair, and she'd be really slow or real lazy, and it would take her, my customer would take me 5 minutes or less, and her customer, it would take her 20, 25, 30 minutes to wait on one customer. And then if somebody came in that was at a different race, because she was very, very racist, anybody came in a different race, she would be like really mean to them right off the bat. And I'd be looking at the customer like going, trying to give him looks like, yeah, she's cuckoo, okay, don't pay attention to her. And one time she walked out of the booth for a minute, and I was downstairs, and I talked to one of her customers when she left the booth, and I said, I apologize. I'm so sorry for that lady. She's got big problems. She's really mean to people, and for no reason, because she was being really mean to these Chinese couple. And there was no reason for her to be like that or be acting like that towards these people. They didn't do anything. They were just trying to rent a car. They weren't doing anything. And she was just being totally flat out mean for no reason at all. Excuse my language.